on gas prices, how much longer will Americans continue to see these high gas prices?
Well, they're not very high. If you look at what they were supposed to be in order to get rid of a nuclear weapon with the danger that entails. So the gas prices have come down very much over the last...
$4 a gallon still.
I know, that's what ABC says. But the fact is that if you look at the stock market's up, everything's doing really well. And the big thing we have to do is we have to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon.
Americans are pissed at Donald Trump for gasoline prices, and they say the war isn't worth it. Back in early February, a gallon of regular on average was, $2.83 in America. Now it's $4.43. That's a 50% increase, guys. Actually, 57%. Now check out the latest polls from CNN's Harry Enton. More voters blame Trump, 77%, for high gas prices than ever blamed Bush, Obama, or Biden. A rare majority trifecta of Democrats, Independents, and Republicans now blame Trump. Even among Republicans, it's 55% of Republicans blame Trump. Among Republicans, let's face it, right? They always vote together. That's surprising. Finally, unlike what Trump and Rick Scott argue, 64% say the war has not been worth fighting for higher gas prices. 64% of Americans say, we don't care what you say about the war, it's not worth it. Guys, this is a disaster. You hear some of the Republicans saying, oh, they were higher under Joe Biden. Yeah, right after COVID with the international shocks, they were higher under Biden. That doesn't excuse 57% increase. We've got to pay 57% more for gas this month because Donald Trump screwed up in Iran. So what if it was higher under Biden, right? Gas price and goods across the board. Remember, diesel fuel is used to transport pretty much everything in the world. Everything you buy that's a solid product is now going to go up in price because fuel transport prices are going up. And we've already seen with the airlines going up 15 to 20%. So don't tell me about Biden. Biden hasn't been president for 2 years. This guy's president, and he just jacked our prices when we're already worried about inflation and ignoring inflation while he declares war on everybody he can in the world. Maybe it's about time Trump started focusing on inflation rather than...
So currently in Nashville, Tennessee, gas is almost $5 a gallon. And all these little MAGA sheep are like, well, Biden, it was $5 a gallon with Biden. Yeah, but Biden didn't make it $5 a gallon. It was the end of COVID. There was a higher demand for fuel because people were starting to drive again. And at that same time, Putin invaded Ukraine, causing a fuel shortage and shooting up the price of fuel. Biden did not invade Ukraine. Mango Mussolini's handler did. See, that's the difference. The acts of the current president are creating this fuel crisis. And no one asked him to do it except for Bibi and his grifting friends who were trying to make investments before sending our sons and daughters off to lose their lives. A man who called service people suckers and losers is sending your sons and daughters off to a foreign land because Bibi has a file on him. And y'all are defending that and trying to put it on Biden, who's sitting at home eating ice cream, not giving a fuck about your whataboutism. It must hurt twisting in all those knots.
Gas prices are up and everybody's blaming Trump. Let me ask you something. Who blocked the Strait of Hormuz? Who's been firing missiles at our allies? That's Iran, not Trump. Trump's been trying to drill more, produce more, depend on nobody. The left blocked him at every turn with green regulations and shut down pipelines. You want cheaper gas? Stop blaming the man fighting for it and start blaming the people who made us dependent on enemies in the first place.
I just thought of this morning. We're at like level 3 and level 5. See, Trump thought he was going to make a deal on Iran, but the problem is Iran said, Mr. President, here's the deal. We're going to have our deal. We're not going to accept your deal, and that's it. So he's trying to negotiate with these people, but there is no negotiating, and I said it before. They're going to win. They're not going to do anything. They welcome us to come to war, send troops, but they're not going to be bullied or persuaded to change their mind and to accept any deal Donald Trump gives them. Right now we're paying close to $5 a gallon for gas. By June and July, we're going to probably be at between $6.50 and $7 a gallon. And remember, too, after summer, we got winter coming up. I told my wife last night, I don't know how we're going to be able to afford to buy fuel. Do we got to get a wood stove? Because God knows by the time winter gets here, if you're paying like $3.80 or $4 for fuel oil, or $4.50, whatever it is, by winter time, we could be paying $7 to $8. I mean, double. People have already like maxed out their credit cards, got nothing left to take. Any 401k or money they've saved has been taken out. And you hear Trump on the news just the other day, he said, they said to him, are you concerned at all about people's financial? And he said, no, not even a little bit. Which means we're all on our own now. Nobody's coming to save you, so if you got to get a third or fourth job, you may want to do that, because the only thing that's cheaper is a dozen eggs. I think they're like $1.50 to $2 a dozen, but everything else is practically doubled. And I don't know what to do anymore. You know, you wake up in the morning and you're so damn tired. Your body aches from just working. You work all day or you work all night. Can't sleep because you're stressed. And then you go back to work again. The days are flying by. They're just kind of running into each other. I don't know what we're going to do. He's worried about the reflective pool and building statues and having Trump phones that don't exist and building a ballroom, while the everyday American is drowning, literally drowning in debt. And there's no light at the end of the tunnel.